Hello, my name is Rebecca and welcome to my mid-year reading review. So I'm going to talk about all of the books that I read from January until June. Favorite books of the year so far, if I'm on top of my goals, and some other fun statistics in my reading this year. My reading goal always is around 50. This year I want to be 55. And so far I've read 23 books this year. I'm not too concerned about that. I have two that one it's an audiobook and I have 2 hours left. And the other one is a physical book and I'm 2/3 of the way, but I'm very motivated to finish it soon. So I'm on track for 50, though I definitely want to do 55 this year. So I need to find some ways to increase my reading. This month has been such a slump for me so far. I've read 2-3 books in June, which is pretty low. It'll go up to 4, maybe 5, but I've definitely noticed that I've been in a little bit of a slump. And on that, some statistics, I've been reading mostly actually audiobooks. So I've read 56% audiobook, which is actually a little bit more accurate. I think each year it's around 50%. And I've read 2 ebooks because one of them was an ARC. I'm not a big ebook person. Yeah, I don't know. I really like the physical book. I definitely, because when I switched from the ARC and then getting the book in person, I've read through it a lot faster. And then I've mostly read female authors. Most of my books I read alone, though I'm reading, me and my husband listen to mystery, murder mystery books together. We are continuously listening to some sort of murder mystery book. So that's been really fun. And we've been doing that the last year or so, maybe longer. So that's been really nice. And you're going to see that in some of the books that I'm reading. The author I'm reading the most is Beth Brower, and I will talk about that a little bit more. But Anthony Horowitz is up there too. That's the author that we're usually listening to. And that's probably boosted my reads from male authors. And the types of books that I read, okay, so it is a lot of mystery, which I really like. I feel like even if the book is a 3-star, I still enjoy a mystery and figuring it out. The only time I'm ugh, that was awful is when the mystery book, it's oh, it was a ghost the whole time or something like that. I hate when it was a ghost. That should be illegal. That should not be allowed. And then the next one is historical fiction. I've been loving historical fiction. I'm back in my Dear America era. So good. And then if you watched me for a while, I'm not a big romance person. But I'm wanting to be getting into romance that I actually like. This year I started going to an in real life book club specifically for romance. Fantastic. If you're wanting more social connections, book clubs, especially if there is a little bit more of a barrier to entry, I actually find that those book clubs are better because people are a little bit more committed to the book club, and it's usually the same type of people. So don't be afraid of a book club that has questions you have to answer and an application. Those I've found to be more organized, put together. People are more dedicated and really like reading. Let's talk about my 5-star reads of the year. I put series into the 1 book category. So if we do that, I only have 3 5-stars this year so far. And that might be why I have a little bit of a reading slump. I haven't had a 5-star read for a bit. And the series, I'm forcing myself to not read it. Oh, savor it, because I've been mostly listening to it. So anyway, my first 5-star read of the year, if you can see, it is East of Eden everybody is reading East of Eden this year, and I'm so glad that I got on the bandwagon. And yes, I read it from this old book that I got somewhere at some point, but it's actually quite easy to read. It's actually quite a good quality book. It's easy to open and read. I think I did listen to a little bit of it on Spotify, but I mostly read actually from this book. If you love a theme, if you love like an intergenerational story, if you're from like Central California or the Bay Area, East of Eden is basically a story about two brothers, and in a way it's the story of Cain and Abel, but not in the way that you would think with a story about two brothers. Steinbeck is so beautiful with themes. I do think that the characters can sometimes at first read feel stereotypical, right? At first when I read the character of Lee, I was like, oh, this is not great because he's a Chinese man. But Lee is this character is like the only character with actual reason. If you want a book that you can really chew on, that is still generally easy to read, I do think that Steinbeck is quite wordy in his metaphors, but it's not a difficult read. It just takes some time. All About Salinas. I live in the Bay Area. I lived closer to Salinas growing up. I'm very familiar with the areas that Steinbeck talks about, and you can really tell that Steinbeck loves this part of the country. Yeah, I think they're making a movie out of it, so that's why everyone's watching it. So I definitely try to pick it up. It's not this like really difficult read. I would though, even though it's not a difficult read, I would take your time reading it, and I'm glad I took my time reading this one. The book or book series of the year is The Unselected Journals of Emma M. Lyon, which is historical fiction. It starts in 1883, and each journal is like a few months. And it's about this woman who is orphaned, but when she comes of age, I believe 2021, she is able to inherit her family home in London. But besides the home, she really has like no money. She doesn't really know what to do. She's kind of in this like small, cute neighborhood of London, and it really gives like Gilmore Girls, like historical Gilmore Girls, like all of the like weird characters and the like inner town drama. But the writing and the character development is a lot more like Jane Austen. Like you truly feel like you're reading like a Jane Austen when you read this, and it is all in her actual journals. She has some things that are like crossed off and like little notes and things like that. So it's like it really feels intimate. And the first, I'd say like 2-3 journals are more lighthearted. They're more kind of like world building. As you get deeper in the journals, like I got the last one I read was volume 5. Volume 4 and 5, you really understand this like deep grief she has, not only for her parents, but for other people in her life who have died, who are very special to her, and how she's kind of navigating that. Also, if you want the slowest slow burn of your life with like multiple guys, this is really for you. Yeah, because I'm Team Pierce, but there's definitely others in her orbit that there could be a romantic connection with. So if that is something that you just love, a slow burn, if you just love like the emotional dynamic as well, it's definitely not a romance book, but there's a little bit of romance there. It's just like a very slow burn. It's very good, very good. I'm obsessed with these books. I haven't been obsessed with a book like this since I read The Stormlight Archives. It makes me want to read more historical fiction because I just want to learn more about this time in history in England and the wars that happened and all these things that impacted so many people. So it is very cool. Hello, Editing Rebecca here. Some film got deleted and we missed out on Water Moon. It was a 5-star for me. It's giving major Studio Ghibli vibes emotionally and kind of like aesthetically. Your visuals are very Studio Ghibli. This is kind of like magical realism, maybe it is more like fantasy, like a romantic fantasy, but not a romantasy, if that makes sense. But this is about Hana and her father who run a pawn shop, but it's not a normal pawn shop. Instead of pawning away items, people from our world pawn away decisions and regrets in their life, and they just come upon this pawn shop when they're trying to go to a ramen restaurant, until one day Hana's father up and disappears. Hana doesn't know what to do, is searching for her father, when a mysterious man from our world tries to help her. And this is all about going through Hana's world looking for her father, and there's like giant paper cranes. It's just so incredibly magical, romantic. It's about sacrifice and family and love, and it made me cry. This was also a special book for me because my husband actually read it first. He annotated it, and it was just like really nice to read his annotations as well. So very, very cool. This book is absolutely beautiful as well. Yeah, I think if you want something that's like kind of feel good but also emotional, amazing. But yeah, those are my top books of the year so far. In terms of what I'm thinking about for the rest of the year, I'm trying to not put too much pressure on my TBR. I have been doing the TBR wheel each month, and that's been going sometimes good, sometimes it feels like a lot of pressure. I'm gonna continue it the whole year just to see how it goes. I think sometimes it does put me in a reading slump when I'm reading a book where I'm like, I wouldn't normally be like picking this up right now, but it's also led me to reading East of Eden. So, and I also am part of a book club too. So like there's certain books I need to be reading, but I definitely wanna be picking up books like Emma M. Lyon that I'm just like, oh, I can't stop thinking about, that kind of like fuel my love of reading. What are your favorite books that you've read this year? Have you read any of the books that I talked about? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.